This is your daily market review for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your daily market review for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. Wow, the year has moved rather quickly. As we get into the end of the year, we know there might be some tax law selling, tax law, or some markup potentially, but we also do know that as we've seen through the economic data, it's weakening pretty quickly, but that doesn't necessarily mean the markets have to move in any particular direction until we get more formal data, which again, you might be getting on Friday with the jobs data. However, we've seen the housing data has been absolutely demoralizing, big misses, but that doesn't, again, the market and the economy do not move hand in hand. Typically they will over time in some directions, but we do know for a fact that you have to trade the market if you're going to trade it. And if you're investing, then you're probably not paying too much attention to what happens the day to day. And if that's the case, again, manage your money accordingly. Do not be all or nothing traders. The more the market's up, with the likelihood of downside risk, you need to adjust your allocation. So knowing that, we got a little bit of earnings after the close, jobs numbers on Friday. It's kind of a sleepy week post Thanksgiving, but we should see some more action as the week goes on. Again, congrats if you're in the Discord room. Some of y'all, again, the trades that we posted absolutely knocked it out of the park. Good stuff. Let's go in deeper, find some more trades, and also, like I said, let's see what we can do to help. If you're new to the channel, check out the Discord room, link description below. If you'd like to chat, again, use the Calendly link, schedule 30 minutes. Let's do this. Let me know how I can help. If you're looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, and you've not reached out, I take it personal. You can get 2 agents for the price of 1. And again, no matter where you're in the country, I can find you the best agent. Be careful using Uncle Tommy or your Aunt Linda, who does 1 transaction a year, and they're steering you in your biggest purchase or sale of your basically net worth. Don't go cheap. Don't take it easy. Go for the best. Let me know how I can help. Again, follow, like, subscribe on Twitter, posting the trades, YouTube, same thing. Like, hit the notification bell. If you want to donate, promotions at the bottom, even if it's 99 cents, I appreciate it. Leave a comment, question, let me know what I can do to help, no matter what, always involved. And check out, again, the website, tradingagent.com. Let's get into it. We know there's a Fed cut potentially coming December 18th. The odds are pretty high now. They're in the 70s. That's basically lock. Anything over 63% is the Feds have not done the opposite. So just so you know for knowledge, if you're watching this as we get closer to the 18th, if this is over 63%, more than likely there will be a cut. At this point, it could change. A lot could change quickly. So again, worth watching. Good old Bitcoin. We talked about this, hit the 2 times range. Of course, it backs off. Now you're seeing some funds moving around into the federal government to potentially be liquidated. Again, whether you like Trump or not, whether you believe in Bitcoin or not, doesn't matter. At this point, near term, they can liquidate if they decide to. Now, could they buy it back? That's a whole nother topic, but worth watching how the technicals play out. You hit the 2 times range. We talked about taking profit. Now you're backing up. You're chopping around. Raise your stops. Don't gamble. Remember, real gains are not real until realized. Until you harvest those gains, they are not real. The farm could get burned down. The crop could burn. Remember that. So be careful. Oil, as we talked about, I don't think there's much downside risk because of the geopolitical stuff. However, demand destruction is real if the economy... Again, if you saw in the post in the Discord room, the jobs numbers adjusted over the last 2 years are always down. People are working multiple jobs to make ends meet. Demand destruction is real if the recession and unemployment grow. We'll see what happens, though. Again, perception is not always is reality, but sometimes it's not, meaning that, yeah, the market could price in slowness, but also see acceleration if, say, ginormous tax cuts are coming or certain things are coming, right? That's why, again, it's a probability-based game. If you're looking for certainty, you should not invest. That's not how this works. Natural gas, we talked about, hit the range highs. Doink, backing off. Nailed that. Again, near term, probably pulling back. Long term, like natural gas a lot. Dollar, we talked about. This thing has been on fire. Somebody obviously knew Trump was probably going to win, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter. The dollar knew. Again, follow the money. We always talk about that. However, near term, after a huge move, is this a head and shoulders top? Is it going to chop around, or is it actually topping? The idea that if someone doesn't use the dollar, that we're going to put 100% tariff on them, we'll see what happens. Again, can that actually be enforced? We'll see. Again, I mean, it's a lot of talk, but again, jawboning does affect the market. TLT, we talked about yields. how we were probably going to hold here. At some point, you would see these prices and bada boom, bada bing, you got it. Near term, this is where it gets a little confusing, right? This is massive overhead resistance, moving averages, significant point in the market where it has memory. It might need a chop for a bit. Again, if you believe in lower interest rates or higher interest rates, again, it's very evidence-based. Now you have a 2-day range. Go with, watch it. The VIX, again, downside risk, in my opinion, very minimal. That's why it makes sense to start hedging, taking profits. Even some people are deciding to short certain trades. Makes sense. VIX, as we always talk about, bottoms first. Well, it bottomed. It's not a pretty bottom, but definitely bottomed 4 days ago. Keep an eye on it. Volatility could pick up fast. You never know where it comes from. SPY. Interesting how it breaks out, and then we don't really get much confirmation. So again, you should be on red alert for a pullback, or does it continue higher? But either way, might seem too simple, but watch the levels. If you break out and keep going, cool. If you decide to pull back, watch what happens, because the 8 and 10 days should catch up by Friday, if I had to guess. Maybe geopolitical stuff could happen after the close, but at this point, again, it's kind of it looks like the market's in this wait and see moment. We're waiting for the jobs number. QQQ has been lagging, starting to catch up back at the highs. Keep an eye on it. Obviously, certain names like Apple and others we talked about, Meta, that were leading up, broke out. See if they get the follow through. IWM, and this is where it's hard. Again, you get multiple conflicting factors here. You've got a double top, a hammer showing weakness while the market moves up. Again, the IWM, the small caps. Remember, smaller companies are the most levered to the U.S. economy. They're not looking good. Something's, again, a little off. Be careful. DIA, been holding up. Not much to say there. Gold, we've talked about this, watching, waiting for the trend line to break. This could consolidate for a while. This could be a head and shoulders top. Why take on risk and watch your money go potentially nowhere when you can wait for confirmation or wait for levels? Again, I personally love this stuff long term, but I'm not going to dilute myself and think after these huge moves, it can't go sideways. Again, silver not really confirming it, chopping near the lows. Miners got a decent little bounce today, but they also got slapped around, and all they did was come back to where they were a couple days ago. Again, these should be leading up, not lagging, if you really believe in the moves in the metals. Make sense? Cool. GDXJ, chopping around. Same kind of thing. Looks a little better, though. And that's where I'd give, again, if you're a bull, this is important that you got over the 48 level. But we barely closed over it with some wick. So, again, you need more data. Data scientist here, right, to make good evaluations. AEM, that's pretty convincing. Breaking the downtrend. It's interesting where it where it did get stuck near term. Keep an eye on that. Not saying that this is the ultimate resistance of resistance, but it is important. So keep an eye, because again, if this leads up, this has been a leader, then you know what's going to happen. Metals, miners should go higher. AG, nice little bar here today at the 20-day. Newmont, as we talked about, this stock should be in the 70s or 80s. It's at 40. Why? Somebody knows something. However, we talked about this is potentially a double bottom. If it's a double B, you know what to do. I mean, again, you can take the trade on, define your risk maybe 1%. Would you be willing to risk 1-2% to make 20, 30, or 40%? Abso-fucking-lutely. Pass. Again, that's why I like binary, very simple trades. Same thing, pass here, chopping around. Keep an eye on it. Taiwan Semi got a little boost. Continuation day. All right, we go from channel low. Again, we talked about this. Could be a flag. Channel high, potentially. Keep an eye on it. Micron. Oh, let me pull up the 10 minutes on the side here, because I think Marvell had earnings after the close. Yeah, chopping around. Micron just chopping around. I mean, some of these names just look, again, this is why I think semis are the easiest short. They're dead money, but you don't want to short the lows, just like you don't want to buy the highs on these things. AMD over the 20-day. Congrats. NVDA, everyone's saying, oh, if it gets over 140, it's flying. It's not even over yesterday's high. We'll see. Again, I think the 20-day would probably be more likely. Again, we talk about when there's a top, you typically bounce back to the 20-day at some point. Keep an eye on it. SMCI, I mean, it's funny. They cleared themselves of their own issues, which it's interesting that, again, their auditor quit, and then they said they're all good. Okay, do you really believe them? We'll see. This is interesting. Very, very volatile action, which personally that means leave it alone. Again, or trade the extremes, but just Don't trust anything. Again, if you're looking into the news for the answers, don't do that. Remember, news is for, tips are for suckers. Trying to get news, trying to trade off of the news is like driving looking backwards. Somebody already knew that headline was coming. Someone manufactured that basic response. Intel's we talked about. Piece of sheet car. Speaking of P, look at that. The CEO is leaving. The company rips up and then gives it all back. We talked about this. If they have actually something of value, the CEO leaving and then being for sale, the stock would be ripping, not dumping. Use the big brain there. Keep it simple. SMH, we talked about this being oversold, bouncing back up. Adobe, this one dropped, flopped, chopped. It's really going nowhere. Not much to say. Apple, we talked about the consolidation pattern. Here you go. I mean, at this point, it's a pretty solid overboughtness, but I wouldn't be surprised if the market chops around. This could rip up into the jobs number. Certain names look like they have that potential. Amazon filled the gap back at the highs, worth watching. Meta, this is one we identified. We talked about this 1121 candle. If you bought this at 550, it's up 70 points. Again, it wasn't a straight line move, but what did we say? Once it got over the 50-day, you're welcome. It became very possible. Now, it looks like a trend line. Potentially what is that, 620s? Yeah, it's a pretty solid damn move. CRM, worth watching. After hours up at 366 on earnings. And congratulations. Again, this one looked like a double top, but this is where we always talk about going through earnings. You don't know the outcome. You could know the numbers, but you don't know how the markets react. So if you hedged, cool. If you didn't, ouch. Worth watching. Again, how it reacts tomorrow. Google seems to be chopping around. Not much to say. Mr. Softy chopping around. Again, it's in a big wedge. It's hard to really play these trades because you can play the tight wedge range, but it's better to let the wedge break, meaning one direction. Like pick it and go with it. Y'all see it very clear, hopefully. I know there's some other old trend lines, but I'd be watching those wedges. NDAQ, again, we talked about how the Nasdaq is not the future of trading. Well, some people I know hit that 1.618 and took it. I didn't personally, but feel happy for the folks that did because you identified it and you nailed it. MicroStrategy, the 2 times basically Bitcoin ETF that Michael Saylor created, watching the 20-day. See nothing yet to act on. Netflix, yeah, back at the highs. Worth watching. Again, remember, this is, there's 3 business days to the new month for new money. Tomorrow would be that day. Roblox chopping around between levels. PanW, again, we like cybersecurity names long term. They make sense here. When you see Congress buying them, expect more pain in that area. It is interesting, though. If you look, you can see a little bit of a, kind of a trend there. Watch that. Personally, long term, like them. Want to see pullbacks before I'd really start ripping on them. Tesla, again, big choppy range. Be careful. This has had a huge move. Don't go chasing butterflies. Insight, again, this company will get bought out, in my opinion. We talked about that when it was in the 50s, popped up to 80s. Now it's pulling back. I'd be watching the 60s. That might be a gift. Palantir, I'm rather impressed that it's making new highs, but hey, this is why, again, you don't step in front of a speeding bullet, right? If this continues higher, you don't know where it's going to end until you get some sort of confirmation. Now, these candles look like it, but then what always happened was the follow-up, and we said watch the 8 and 10 day. Well, as long as you hold that primary trend, it's going to still continue to potentially go higher. It's just hard to trade it, meaning if you want to really extend yourself after a big move, you could get slapped around at some point. McDonald's going a whole lot of nowhere near term. Just, I don't know, seems choppy. DKIG, again, I like the short up here. Makes sense. Watching these ranges. Airbnb Bizzle. Again, I don't see them having long-term strength. Near-term, the stocks have been punished somewhat, but this is where you got to have long-term potential ideas here, being just be safe, right? This is definitely the blow-off low. Now we've rallied. Are things really going to be better near-term? In my opinion, not so much. Not so much. Costco, this one's on fire. Nothing much to say other than keeps cranking. Starbucks. Took the Chipotle CEO, gapped up. We talked about it, chop around. Well, it's been doing that for almost 3 months. Keep an eye on it. It's holding over the old range, but man, this is just not fun action. FedEx, if you shorted it like we talked about up in the 300 plus level, bada boom, bada bang. Look at that. Fucking destroy today. Again, things that you look at and go, Apple's making a new high, but FedEx is getting crushed after Black Friday. What is going on here? Again, there's conflicting evidence. Does that make sense? Just worth a watch. Again, congrats if you took that. Caterpillar, we talked about this one filling the gap. Boom, giving it up. DE, this one's been on fire. Deer, be aware, near term overbought. Nucor, we talked about the steel names. We like them long term. Let them play the game. Let them chop around. X, supposedly they're not going to get sold to Japanese investors, but then a bunch of calls came in today. We'll see if that works for that trade. Again, it looks like it's more of just a posturing. Vale, that's really interesting. Chopping at the lows. Arrow, again, we like copper. Nothing. Chopping at the lows. Again, let these play out. Let, you say the dead cat bounce. Like, just let it die. Let it find the levels, and then in time, you'll see if the big money is coming in. CCJ, again, we like uranium long term, holding up, chopping. CF, interesting action today because, again, you could have played the breakout here. Makes sense. Cool. Mosaic, it's interesting, though, the other ag names didn't follow. All right, let's try to speed this up. Chop, NTR, chop, chop, chop. AA, again, we like aluminum long term, but it's near the range highs. I mean, could it break out? It's just not really showing it, but you trade how you want. Again, sometimes there's again, if you're looking for certainty, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you can't believe in that crap. All right, speaking of certainty that looks like you're short, here's another one. We talked about the XLF. Banks hold all the risk. Holding up into a new month, new money should be acting better. Yikes. Break the 8-10 day, watch out. We talked about JP Morgan. They're not buying back their stock. Why would you buy back their stock? Keep an eye on it, chopping around. Morgan Stanley, Stanley Morgan, chopping again. All these names look like they have a potential ceiling. It's just whether they will get the follow through to the downside. It's worth watching. Goldman Snacks, chopping, chop, chop. KRE, again, we talked about junior banks. They're way more levered. Look at the action since the 25th. Just coming right back. XBI again. Junior bios. Very leveraged part of the economy. Like, again, they leverage free, borrowing money and leveraging it to pay and invest in R&D. Most of these companies don't ever make money. If they do, they get bought out. They typically lead if the market's strong. Well, they're going nowhere. It tells you need more data. Airlines. Oh, that's not it. The jets. This is interesting because, again, I know some folks are looking at the short here. It makes sense. After a huge move, watch a 20-day. There was really good, actually, data from travels over the holidays. People felt pretty confident traveling, which, okay, it's usually a good sign for the economy. But however, could that have just been, again, pent-up demand? That's my curiosity. A lot of people have not traveled for a while. XHB, we'll see, chopping around the highs. Let's get through it quick. Solar, talked about dead cat bounces. Got it. Near term, this is where I look at them. I go, you got some levels worth a watch. I mean, all of them. But do you really want to be in between some of the bigger ranges? That's where I just go, no, pass, moving on. HYG, corporate debt. I think you got to be high out of your mind to buy corporate debt at these prices. Keep an eye on it. USO, we talked about gas, chopping, going nowhere fast. UNG, I hate this product. I don't know why people continue to ask questions. It's a POS. Short the KOLD. We talked about if you would have taken the short at 85, sorry, not 85, was it 83, 84? Got down to 52 in 3 weeks. Now you should have taken profit. Look what it's doing. Trade the ranges. Ranges are your freaking friends, y'all. I'm telling you. Sometimes you don't get always straight line moves. People hate ranges. I like ranges. XOP, talked about this backing up. Seems to be holding the 200-day. CVE, again, if you like these oil and gas names, they make sense down here, but it's hard to get excited about them. Gasoline names typically lead. They're starting to look a little choppy. More evidence needed. MPC, same kind of thing. Ten Cuidado. Exxon Mobil. We've talked about this one. It just seems to be chopping at the range highs. Ugh. If you like no action and you like just watching the grass grow, some of these names, that's what they look like. Occidental, again, Buffett's buying as much stock and selling puts on this, but ultimately I think, again, he's waiting for the big range. He doesn't care. He knows he'll get paid. EQT, talked about this hitting upside targets. Time to a little back off. Watch the 20-day. Watch the 2-day range at 44. Last but not least, Flex LNG, because, again, I think we'll be natural gas exporters. Looks like a big consolidation range. Again, you can get in early or you can just wait. Take it easy, whatever you think is the best strategy for you. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Hope you're having a great night. Holler at your boy. Later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.